Time?
Yep.
Okay. My name is Ryan. Our group project, we're doing Homeland Security, and then we finally narrowed it down for the resolution to be, should we tighten airport security? And arguments for guests that, will be effective, is it cost efficient? Even before we came up with a resolution, when we had a general term, what should we be doing, I looked up a couple sources specifically on Homeland Security in general. So the first site is whitehouse.gov. This one gives a brief overview of Homeland Security. It talks about upcoming articles, gives a very brief what they do, the different branches, straight from the White House. The second one is Homeland Security News. This one is more updated. It gives very, very current articles about it, what Obama plans on doing, other administrations, a little bit on the airport, but also border control. There's articles, journal entries on this. And the last one is homelandsecurity.org. This one is actually a site that's dedicated to improving Homeland Security. It lists the objectives as prevent terrorism, secure the borders, enforce the immigration laws, things like that. It works with the Obama administration, and what it does basically is, with the objectives, it gives out articles, the new plans on it, overview of the Homeland Security once again, but it goes more in depth with specific goals. Obama is going to be calling for this plan, shooting for this bill. So what I found very interesting about this is just how updated it gets, and specifically it lists Obama plans on doing this to ensure Homeland Security.
Thank you.
All right. How you doing? My name's Thomas Wagner. And one of the articles that I looked up, both were written by Peter Cattell, that I used CQ Researcher to look up. And one of the articles, in one of the articles he asks, is America safe from terrorism today? And it says that an Al-Qaeda expert, Peter Bergen, notes that intensive investigations since 9/11 have failed to uncover a single Al-Qaeda sleeper cell in the U.S. So, and political scientist John Mueller of Ohio State University says that the fact that the government can't find the Al-Qaeda agents in the U.S. means that the terrorist group isn't trying. So being on the negative side of this, I'm going to be resolving that airport security does not need to be tightened, because if we can't even find them in our own country, I mean, they're half a world away. They really probably, most likely, don't pose another threat to the United States on their soil. And why I'm saying this is because former career Army officer Carafano does not believe that Al-Qaeda can be systematic in their attacks, because we had the attack in 9/11, and then we had the attack, several years later in London, and then we had an attack several years later in Mumbai. They're just all over the place, and they're random. Now, is the Department of Homeland Security effective, including airports? Now, a widely shared view by security officials is that the DHS, it's just a 20th century Frankenstein put together of all these different agencies that are trying to keep the homeland safe, but they're dealing with 21st century problems. I mean, that in that aspect needs to be advanced. Now, the 9/11, the DHS is, and when it comes to the Department of Homeland Security, it can get very confusing, because the DHS's first director, he said that the DHS was also going to be handling things like catching predators online, pedophiles. I mean, it seems like they don't even know what they're doing. Now today, it says that Obama lives under the shadow of expectations that terrorists are going to test him, like they did to Bill Clinton, like they did to Prime Minister Brown in England, like they did to Bush in his first terms of office, but nothing has happened, because obviously the Homeland Security has been doing its job, and the Al-Qaeda obviously cannot get themselves organized enough to launch another successful attack on American soil. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Gladys. Well, when searching in the New York Times, I typed in Transportation Security Administration, and what came up for Homeland Security was that the supports that have grown for screening in different airports across the United States. Also, when typing into Google Scholar, what came up to me that was very interesting was James P. Lynch, who was a criminologist, and he himself teamed up with other criminologists, and they together wrote the book Criminologists on Terrorism and Homeland Security. So basically it gives a background on what Homeland Security is doing to prevent terrorist attacks in the United States. It discusses the violence prevention in general and terrorism in particular. the policies that have been added in Homeland Security, the sentencing, and the justice that is, let me see, also aggression, balancing, identifying, and defining and studying terrorism in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dame. All right, to shine some light on like the affirmative side of things, I looked up some sources on TSA website, and you know TSA is one of the leading providers for airport security and such, and you know they make it clear that they're actually taking steps towards increasing security by testing out new scanners and machines like that. So also illegal that, to address issues that were raised about a decade ago, they're actually implementing an alien flight student program. So, you know, they're willing to take illegal aliens, that's how they put it, illegal aliens into the skies and, you know, keeping an eye on them and teaching them how to fly and stuff like that. So they're having classes and stuff like that on it. And also on DHS.gov, you know, national polls are taking. And it shows that actually 4 out of 5 Americans actually support the additional security that are being pressed forth in the airport. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you.